Welcome OIG family today to our very exciting AMA with VoiceStreet. We have with us the CMO, Pedro. You can see the signs that it's evolving in the music industry. You can see artists are becoming self-made. There's a lot of independent artists. And I love that example with Adele where she's the one dictating the direction of her music. And it sounds like your platform gives the artists the chance to control their destiny, what connects them with their fans and allows them to sort of control their creativity. It opens up their choice rather than someone telling them what to do. So it's very interesting. But on the perspective of the fan, then, because I can see the benefit for the artist, how does your platform, how will that benefit a fan?
For instance, the fans can, we have created the Daffy Panda gang app, which has 10,000 original avatars. Each one created by 200 different artists and with different attributes in terms of appearance and headgears and all that. And they can enter this community, and it's a music-based game, and they can only the people who own the avatar can enter, but they can also invite others, and it will be an ecosystem with its own digital economy where people can create bands. They can buy part of the copyrighted songs that we have from original musicians that they can trade that later. They can do staking, they can do mining, and it's when you start this type of games or communities, the DAO communities, you don't know what it starts. I mean, you can set the rules, but it's something that it takes as time goes, it takes its own shape, right? What we're doing is since we have a very deep team that comes from gaming, they have created a beautiful storyboard. Okay, we have the story goes like this, civilization has come to an end. The central bankers of the world have issued too much cash. It's inflation. We have no natural resources, and then all these Daffy Pandas who are genetically modified decide to travel into another planet and then conquer every galaxy out there. So once they go into the game, they can monetize and participate on all the library of songs that that we will have from musicians. They can go to virtual concerts. They can purchase different things. They can bring things from other games. So there is many things that the fans can do. And also as we are decentralized, fans will also. I'm sure we're gonna take the feedback of fans as the game progress and make it accordingly to fans' desires. Because the fans are at the end are the ones who tell you who make your platform come to life and who have a voice, because in this game they can run for office, they have voting rights, they make the consensus decisions. So it's they can benefit, and also we are going to issue a token. We are doing an IDO at the late December, and we are only releasing only 0.25% of our original token size, and the fans can benefit from the appreciation as our business model grows.
Yeah, no, I mean that's phenomenal how you've incorporated all the derivatives, all the sort of copyright into the game. It's you're sort of combining the hottest things in the industry right now all in one. And I love we spoke earlier about your team, the experience you have within the music industry, how deep that runs, and you have the game aspect, the gaming team, but you also there incorporating the distributed autonomous organization element, the fact that people can sort of guide this platform. And I love the fact that you're combining your expertise but with what people want. It's a really nice concept.
Yeah. And also in the future we plan to collaborate with other NFT companies, because the demographics are very extensive, and you have NFT companies from all over the world who want to have access maybe to your demographic. And what we have created, for instance, with each artist is an IMO, or initial music offering. And each artist, you negotiate with each artist for each song in terms of like, how much ownership they have, how much we have, how much the community has. And we can also make the IMO into a digital asset that we can also convert it as we collaborate with other NFT music platforms, say from Brazil or from South America, that have a completely different base of different artists, and you can bring it on to your communities. Where we are well known, like in India, Vietnam, Philippines, all of Southeast Asia, Australia, Russia, China, everywhere, So it's like the basics of blockchain is cooperation, I mean, it's long are the days that people will have a centralized. Anything that what will be centralized, I think, will die within the Web3, So it's all about cooperation and how you can make that cooperation good for everybody and respecting everybody's intellectual property rights and music copyrights, and also protecting the musicians and so on, because in the Web3 musicians and also the play to earn a future, the gamers and the musicians, I mean, they have the power, so you have to build a place where they can feel that they can trust, because there are a lot of choices. So you have to feel a place that that they can trust and they feel comfortable. And I think that once you do that, the chances of success are pretty high. I mean, even though there is a lot of competition out there, to be realistic.
Like you said, there is a lot of competition, but you're not looking to beat them. You're looking to work with them. You're looking to expand together.
Yeah, you have to, in life, you have to divide to multiply, right? That's what the Italians say, right? Divide to multiply, not divide to conquer, divide to multiply.
No, it makes sense. I mean, it's a huge industry that spans multiple languages, cultures. So to think that you can do it on your own is very naive. And I like the fact that you're creating a base from which other organizations can work through and from. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But just for the people watching, then, if could you take us through on a journey of how it would look for an artist? So I'm an upcoming artist. How am I going to use your platform, and what will this look like?
Yeah, for instance, like, Benjamin, you're an artist and you say, I want to release a song with you guys. And then we do an IMO with you. And then we say, okay, your song, we can, we can assess the value of your song. You can say, okay, I want cash, which some musicians, very few want. Other people rather have a vested interest in the token of the platform. And once you issue your song, I mean, that's our whole community of gamers and also music fans can purchase the fractionalization of your song, which becomes a digital asset or is securitized. And then the greatest thing about the Web3 is like, if you were a Picasso, right? You only make money with the first painting. Here, as you put your music online, you can make money as a music trade, and it goes up in value. So I mean, and also we can have your music or your song, and we like, there is some NFTs like One Off by Quincy Jones, right? The godfather of music. But they're trying to go after the streaming platforms. We don't want to go after the streaming platform. We want to work with them too. Because they're gonna be there. I mean, it's not, you can't take them out. I mean, they're like, so if you, Benjamin, come and you release your songs, we also gotta say, oh, we're gonna put your song in different music platforms, like QQ in the Asia, NetEase, the iTunes of the world, and the Spotify, and you can collect royalties. So that's the way you make money. Also, we can create like a pop icons, or we can create backstage passes for the fans, who purchase your music, and they will have like the Kings of Leo. They just issue a record, and the first VIPs, they have like live backstage passes in case there is physical concerts. So the business model is very new. and always evolving, like it's just like the life of the Daffy Pandas, the 56 days of our life is 1 year in the Daffy Panda world. So if you play the game for a long time, you die. So in this industry right now, it reminds me of the Web 2, like each day is like a month, like
Yeah.
so like to have absolute answers, it would be naive from my part, and it would be egocentric and selfish, and so I can, what I'm telling you right now, it can always change, but the parameters are set there for the musician to grow, and to benefit from the platform, and bringing on the community, a new community, like, like platforms such as ours, you have to go after you listen IDOs, you have to go to the KuCoins and the gates of the war, and those platforms, the CEX, they want a set of 50,000 new users. So our advantage is that we have those new users because we have the music fan-based community, we have the game fan-based community. So we don't only have the crypto guys who are always around and they know, they're putting all the chips around, right? Trying to like harvest, So we're trying to like give these to the people, who are who want to follow the musicians through us, and we want also them to benefit if we benefit, So the Web3 is not a zero-sum game. It's gonna be, like I think a win-win for everybody, as long as you can make a success. So
No, yeah. I mean, that's one thing that jumps out straight away about your project is what you just said there. You are potentially have a user base of it's unbelievable when you think about with every artist you on board, you bring on their fan base. With every expansion in within the music industry, you bring in a new market. If you bring in Brazilian artists, you bring in a whole new market. The GameFi aspect is growing exponentially. The crypto world, if you look at it, the growth is incredible. So you're combining all of these elements. It's quite exciting to think where you could be, and the fact that you're quite flexible and you're adjusting and you're working with all these entities. You're expansive. You're not fixed. You're not rigid, and I think that probably comes from your experience, as we spoke about earlier. You've been in the music industry a long time. You've seen the web develop, and I think that's quite clear that you understand the need for flexibility.
Right, like I remember, I had an offer to go to work for iTunes in 2005. My cousin now, she runs one part of iTunes, and iTunes, like, it's always evolving. Like iTunes became huge when they allowed every credit card from every region to be used to download music. In the old days, you had to have a US credit card to buy music, So like it was the old music industry is very rigid. And the beauty about now is like we have decentralized finance, and we have a fund, and like you said, like musicians can only come to an NFT platform and release music, but maybe we have fans, who say, hey, I'm a fan of Benjamin. Can you bring him on? Because there is, the gamers, they have voting rights. I mean, it's the DAO, right? So they have a voice. So they can say, hey, I want my musician in your platform. We're willing to support him. We want his music. I want, so, I mean, the things, I think it's like, once you open the Pandora box, the sky's the limit. I mean, we are like, as I said, like we are this is like still in the infancy. Like, it's 2 years old. It's 2 days old. Like no matter as much as people can tell you, like, oh, it's since 2017. No. Since 2017, there is Bitcoin and Ethereum or whatever. But this is this year, And when we look back, in the future, we're gonna say, wow, this pandemic, as unfortunate as it was for everybody, it was like a pre-exercise for this metaverse, right? Like everybody is like now working from home. There is no physical space. Everybody calls themselves a nomad. I mean, in life, like you can be. There is no physical. I have like 3 passports, right? People ask me where I'm from. I say, planet Earth, because like no matter where you are in the world. I mean, I go to Asia and people listen to Joy Division, my favorite band, Ian Curtis, Manchester City. Fun, right? So I mean, what unites us as humans is our taste of music, our taste of books, our taste of like sports. And we have signed like the major gamer esports celebrities as well, and esports players as KOLs. So I mean, I think the beauty, like if you go to Twitter now, everybody who is in this industry is the same. They don't care. There is no nationalities, there is no borders, it's all based on, we're humans, we have, and music is the most universal, like I mean, anthropologists will tell you that we communicated via music before language, and once I went to Ibiza because a friend invited me, Carcox, Carcox, right? And everybody there is like, people from all over the world dancing, and I'm like, wow, I'm amazed, and everybody's happy, and they don't speak the same language, but music is a language, right? So that's the beauty.
It's true. I mean, the music world unifies people, and you're so true what you're saying there about the crypto world. I mean, time zones kind of blur, languages kind of merge. It's quite a nice sort of comparison to join the two as well. One thing that you did say there that really sort of interested me was talking about. So you obviously have unbelievable connections within the music industry. I was just wondering, for your platform to work, we spoke earlier about you don't need to target the superstars really. It's not that kind of element, but you might need some on board to promote what's happening. So how are you going to go on about onboarding people?
Yes, we have, because of that original founders who have like more than 60 years experience on Warner and Sony, we already have signed like more than 31 musicians that are very diverse. Like they come from some are Taiwan, Korea, the US, some are DJs, some are pop. I'm talking to other platforms around the world to sign, like, who has other musicians who are like all Pink Floyds of Brazil, so we have signed the well-known names, and we are working with them, and they are very excited. And we have 10,000 pandas, right? 8,888 have gone on sale on OpenSea and Binance, and we reserve like 400 or so for the people who are going to be our main our musicians. And you say, how do we sign them on? It's like, each artist is each musician is an artist, and each artist is very peculiar. So with each artist, you have to, it's a different negotiation, right? Because artists are very sensitive people, because they are highly evolved. Like people say, oh, I have a high IQ, but in the age of AI, nobody is, IQ will die, right? So at the end in life, what will count is the EQ. Artists, are people who are, evolve, and the negotiation is case by case,
So I'd love to know, I mean, so exciting what you've explained so far, and you mentioned about how you're going to release a token. When can we get this, and what exactly are the utilities of your token? How does that integrate into your platform?
The roadmap for the launching of the token is like, like we're going with the IDO platforms. We're trying to be very diverse. My CEO is working on that, and we have already signed a few IDO platforms. And then, one of our investors is Huobi Ventures. So we have contacts in Gate and KuCoin before going to the big CEX. And the value of the token will be like, it's a way for the community to be engaged. We want to create a sticky, a well-engaged community, and our token is basically the currency through which they can enter our world and support the artists and play the game and earn to play. They will. So basically, the utility of the token will come from a very well, diverse, engaged global community. It's all about communities. So I mean, and also it's also like my career is in finance. So when you do an IPO, when you do like an all offering, right? You don't want to like you have to be very attentive to the market, and you don't want to float everything. So having said that, we're only issuing in IDOs like 0.25% of our original token size, and later on only like 2%. So we are doing this for the long term, and because the token represents, the value of the music that we buy and the contributions of the musicians to the platform. So we have to protect everybody, who comes in.
Yeah, and so with the rest of the supply, is that released later on through staking and farming? Do you have those elements coming up?
Yeah, we have the staking and farming already in place, and it's one of the part of the business model as well. And people can earn, additional revenue through the staking and farming of the yields. So yes, that's already incorporated.
So it's incredible when you think about, you're a music fan, you get connected to your favorite artists, you get to play and enjoy and have fun, and then you earn at the same time. It's got everything you need. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think like like that. That's the beauty of this. If you build it well, and you like protect the fans, you protect the musicians, I think you can do well. And you have to like do it. You have to be very careful how you launch, and to protect every musician who comes on board. And hopefully, we get the next Dua Lipa, right?
Yeah.
Or the next Justin Bieber, or the next Pink Floyd. Kind of.
Why not? I mean, if you think about the way that the most recent artists are coming, progressing forward, is they're self-made. I mean, I can think of many cases of people building their own hype just on YouTube and Spotify. Now they've got an even bigger platform, and as you said, a bigger market. When you think about, you take in GameFi, DeFi, you take in the crypto world, there's no reason why this can't explode.
Yeah, because like like the old saying, like the video killed the radio, right?
Yeah.
YouTube killed the video, the old MTV, and then and then came Spotify and killed everybody, and but now the genie went out of the bottle, and it's like the sky is the limit, because now everybody, like like I told you, anybody like who has even if you have 200,000 fan base, you can release your music, and you're already seeing musicians leaving all the record studios, and you see like big hedge fund managers like Ackerman, for instance, buying a Universal Music Group. Why? Because also that's another part of the equation, non-performing assets, or like, because now people know the celebrities of the world because of an algorithm, but there is the taste, the global taste is much bigger than that. So this guy is buying Universal because he knows that there is a lot of non-performing assets out there that once he securitize and become digital assets, those songs can have enormous value. Like PayPal buys Pinterest. And you say, why PayPal? A fintech is buying Pinterest. Like it's like an art-based platform for creative directors. Because it's a lot of like graphics and creativity, and right now Pinterest, the current stock value is worth like 20 billion, but once you securitize everything, it will go worth 300 billion or more. So, so what I'm saying is like also collaborating with record companies, which are at a disadvantage. They have a lot of big library of non-performing assets that can become performing assets. Music fans can say, hey, there is a song that nobody's listening, like say like Love will break us apart, right? From Ian Curtis. Nobody's listening. Can you put it on your platform? And it becomes the biggest song, right? Because I saw the other day in Netflix that there was a movie that tanked in the box office, but in Netflix, because it's a streaming global platform, that it not only caters to the US audience, the music, that movie, it became huge. So the beauty of this is that it's global. It's really global. It's like there is no. You are catering to the Cold War, and the war who has a taste or a preference can come to you and say, "Hey, I want my song. Can you sign this guy? we will find Benjamin. You know, he has
Yeah,
a cool song. You know,
that's
so
incredible. Yeah, no,
I think
I can see how that would work. The both on those two things you said there. I actually at first I was thinking, would this be seen as negative by the traditional music industry? But then the way you described that there, you can use sort of old assets and then bring it to life through your platform,
yeah.
and that's really interesting. A real interesting thing to think that.
Yeah, imagine you have a lot of flowers out there that have not been watered,
Mhm,
but they are still alive. You
mhm.
know, all you need to do is just put a little water, you know, and they become sunflowers. You know, because the algorithm hasn't found the flowers, or because some music director who has no taste doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You know, but now we don't need a music director sitting in an office somewhere in LA. We need the fans. The
Mhm.
fans will decide. You know, so that's the beauty. You know, so
No,
we're trying to build that place where the fans decide and the musicians can, you know, I mean, you will have, like, you know, people is if you take it on the philosophical sociological point of view, some people say, oh, robots will kill jobs. Yeah, but the Web3 is offering people a lot of new opportunities. Like,
massive.
you can be a guy who before worked in Starbucks, but you had 300,000 fan base. Now you can be a musician, and you don't have to be, you know, have a part-time job. You know, you can do
I'm
that
thinking,
fully.
I'm thinking about even just say my brother. He was in a band, and they had a good following where I lived, but it was very difficult to get signed, to be seen by the person at the right time who might like that. And I'm thinking about your platform, and if it was me and his fans, we can now drive that. We can be the ones behind him, building up and sort of buy into him and his success and make it happen from our end. And I just think that's such an exciting prospect. The fact that you can connect with your favorite artist, but also be the driving force to their success. It's just
Yeah,
amazing.
I think it will be good for musicians.
I mean, I'm thinking about all of these elements you just said there, and then how interesting that will be to explore rather than do that within the real world, within your metaverse, within the Arc of Panda. Um, how much fun and how accessible it is for everyone around the world to join in that journey through the metaverse rather than having to spend all their money to travel so far away. Yeah, I'm very interested in your metaverse and the Arc of Panda. Can you tell me roughly? Have you got any dates on when that might be? At least the early version could be released.
Yes, I mean, you know, we are releasing the beta version in 6 weeks. So we are expecting to release our beta within 6 to 8 weeks
Wow,
from now. And then after that, we expect, you know, the game to start being fully operational.
that's huge. There's a lot of amazing concepts at the moment, but not a lot of actual building going on. It's just ideas, and it's great to hear you're both. You have an amazing idea, but almost ready to go. Well, Pedro, thank you so much for explaining your project to us. VoiceStreet sounds incredible. We can't wait to hear and see more. I fully recommend the whole OIG community follow every single channel of VoiceStreet and look out because this project's going to do big things. Don't forget, OIG family, to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Telegram. We've got some huge things happening, so check the links below and stay up to date with all our news.